What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Financial Freedom Builders, where every conversation moves you one decision closer to financial freedom. If you take a moment, if you hit the like button, subscribe to the page, top comment below gets you access into Freedom Builders Academy. Absolutely amazing course. But take a moment and hit the like button. In this particular video, we want to get to 100 likes. And we want you to be the wolf, not the sheep. The wolf is the one that sets the trend. So by the time you're watching this video, we may have not had this rolled out yet. You can start the trend with the like button. If you're the sheep, usually people jump in once it's 70 or 80 likes in, and we want 100 likes in. So be one of the first ones to jump in and start the trend for us. Now, we want to get into a conversation here that's extremely important. It's a massive money-making opportunity. And if you do this correctly, you and your family can see generational wealth on the other side of this one. And this is actually through the route of cryptocurrency. So we're going to talk about two things in particular. We're going to talk about where we see Bitcoin going in the short to medium term. And then at the other side, give you guys one particular crypto that we like for accumulation right now going into the rest of the journey. Of course, everything here is not financial advice. This video is for education and entertainment purposes only. However, this page and this particular community has made significant amount of money over the last few years. And if you just follow the blueprint, more likely than not, you will find the success you're looking for. So let's talk about Bitcoin. So the first thing with Bitcoin that's very important is that we saw the first wings of a pullback in Bitcoin about a few weeks ago. It was as high as in the 80s and the 70s, and we saw a flash down very aggressively to about $60,000. From there was a lot of retail investors that came in and scooped it up at that price and bought the dip and started pushing Bitcoin back the other way, which has been drifting for a few weeks at this levels. We're right now approaching a local resistance, okay? Consider resistance like the ceiling of a room. So coin is drifting and it's literally at the precipice of touching the ceiling in the room, which is about $69,000 to $70,000. Now, if Bitcoin can break through that ceiling, then that ceiling becomes the floor of the next level up, which means that Bitcoin can continue to keep climbing if it can break the ceiling. What we foresee happening is we think we're going to see the ball hit the ceiling and bounce right back into the room, heading towards the floor of the room, which the last time we saw was about 60,000. But what we think we will see this time around is we think that the floor is about to become the ceiling of the next room. And if that's the case, we're going to go into the 50,000s level, which was something we already predicted at the end of last year. While Bitcoin was nearly $90,000, we told and alerted our financial community that we saw Bitcoin getting to at least $59,000 this year. So we think this will go beyond that, but for sure, it appears that we're going to see Bitcoin go into another level below. So we'll have to watch and wait. There are two outcomes there. Again, above 70,000, we are definitely bullish, continuing upwards, maybe towards 76,000, maybe 77. But if it does reject at this ceiling level, we're going to go into the 50,000s. However, within that, there's still opportunity in front of us. And there is one crypto that is on our radar that did something very important earlier this week, and you may not even be aware of it. And the crypto is none other than Cardano. The ticker symbol is ADA. Cardano is one of the layer one cryptos that are out there. It's an altcoin, an alternative option to Bitcoin, and it's been one of the cryptos that have tried to come up with new ways of innovation to be able to help process payments and do things through what's called proof of work. Okay, with Cardano, during the last bull cycle for all the altcoins, XRP, Solana, Ondo Finance, Binance, Ethereum, all of them made a new all-time high the last bull cycle. There was one layer one crypto that did not do one on the last cycle, and that was Cardano. And so now we see that Cardano is not behaving like the rest of the altcoins. And so with that, this provides an anomaly of an opportunity that even though we may see crypto pull back And yes, it will have some effect on Cardano. We may see Cardano start to have irrational behavior because it did not follow the trend completely that the other altcoins and Bitcoin had on the previous cycle. And so there was one thing that happened early this week that's critically important. Cardano finally broke a year-long descending wedge pattern that it was in since it touched $1. Your homework for today following this video is to do research as to what is a descending wedge pattern in charts. And so when you see Cardano break through, it finally rose above it yesterday and it got back to the 31-cent level. Very critical level of resistance that it broke through. So if it can hold 31 cents and show that, hey, this is no longer a ceiling, this is becoming a floor, then we're going to see the first checkpoint at about 35 cents, which is a psychological level. It's not true support nor resistance. It's just a psychological level. But once it breaks through 35 cents, Cardano may be the first crypto that reverses and is fully corrected and is ready for the upswing. Why is that important? Because if it continues to rise, even though Bitcoin and some of these other cryptos are falling, once those cryptos correct, Cardano's already going to be in front of the pack and then will continue to fully accelerate back to what should have happened in its previous all-time high, which was $3.20. So it didn't get to touch and exceed it on the last bull cycle, which means there could be an opportunity in front of us now to make 10 times our investment from here if Cardano can get back to all-time highs. And if you have the opportunity to make a 10x on an investment, what could that do for your family's financial future? That's what this page is about. It's about giving you the opportunity to take a decision to pursue and reach financial freedom. Now, that's just one strategy of many that we provide. You can get a lot more within Freedom Builders Academy, which will be the top comment below. But the question is how bad do you want to be financially free? Talk to you on the next one.